What is up, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I am Chris 183. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to High School Never Ends, the pop punk dad podcast. But we're not going to talk about pop punk today, guys. We're going to talk about movies. This is Movie May. And today we have a very, very special movie for you that we want to talk about. This is one from way back. This is one from I want to say my childhood, but just nostalgic in every way, stretching the imagination. We'll talk about it. But today we're going to talk about the SNL-based skit movie, Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent. It's just Wayne's World. And Steve, what do you think about talking about this movie? I don't want you to get into it, but what do you think about this?
Party on, Chris.
Party on, Steve.
That's it.
That's all you got?
That's what I think. No,
Okay.
I'm very, very excited to talk about this movie. This is one that is deep in my brain, deep in the nostalgia. And there's only one person that I've known for the majority of my life who I know loves this movie too. So he's here with us. He's the WingBro. He's my brother. His name is Randy. You might have heard him once before. He's a big Wayne's World head. What up, dude?
Have you gone mental?
God, this movie is just so quotable. We did that thing you do last week, and I made a comment that like it's a great movie, but it's just not that quotable. I feel like this movie is just all like one-liners and quotes. It's amazing.
Definitely.
I agree. I probably wrote down a half dozen. So it's funny because it's probably like 30 or 40 quotable things here that you could, if you don't try, you could just write down on paper. The only problem is, I think in 2024, probably half of those are still funny. The other ones maybe aren't as much, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and so Chris and Randy, you guys, other than the one show where Randy joined us to talk about Punk Goes Crunk, you guys were on my fantasy baseball league together for a number of years. And, you know, when I think Wayne's World, my brother, every single year that he's been in my fantasy baseball league, his team name is all references to this movie. And Randy, I made a list. Can you name all of your fantasy baseball team names since you've joined, which is maybe 12, 13, 14 years ago? Could you get them all?
You're putting me on the spot, but I can definitely name a handful, if not all. The Baby and Majoras, La Renard, Crucial Taunt, Jolly Green Giants, the Shitty Beatles. I stuck with Crucial Taunt for a while because that was the first.
4 years.
That was the first year that I won it. So I said, all right, we got to stick this one out. Currently, Stan Mikita's Donuts.
Yeah,
but,
you missed a handful of them.
I'm sure I'm missing a handful, but go ahead.
You missed the Baberham Lincolns. You missed the Shitty Beatles. Did you say that?
He said
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sharp Records was your team name for 3 years, and then Ass Sphincters for another 3 years. And then
Right.
I believe it was the Gasworks is the only other one. So this guy has been basing his fantasy baseball teams off of Wayne's World from 1992 for the last 15 years. Very, very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what, though? Like, it's funny. I never put two and two together. So I was in this baseball league for a couple years before I just decided that I was donating my money to these guys who know much more about baseball than I do. But I saw Crucial Taunt. I'm like, man, because I hadn't seen Wayne's World in probably, I mean, we're talking what, 5-6 years ago I was in this league. So another 15-20 years since I've seen Wayne's World. I had no idea Crucial Taunt was from that movie. And I thought it was a baseball thing that I could not wrap my head around. So when I found out that that's what it was just mind blowing. Like, oh, wow. Okay, there it is. Heard it in the movie. I'm like, that's what he meant by that. So yeah, for sure.
He's had the little image with Wayne with his thumbs up I think for 15 years.
I just,
it's
didn't
small,
pay
though.
attention to that. Yeah.
I think there was a time when we had a group chat going on. It got heated at one point, regarding the fantasy baseball, and somebody was ripping into me about having the Wayne's World, the Wayne's World names as my team names for so long. I forget who it was. Do you recall that, Steve? Do you know who that was?
I don't
in the
know.
league?
You get into a lot of fights in the baseball league, so I can't keep them all straight in my head. I don't
Get a little
remember.
passionate. Yeah.
He's a little hot, but I was we do this thing on Movie May, and Randy really didn't want to be like put on the spot. He wanted to be super prepared, but we got to just put him on the spot because that's what we do here, Movie May. So before we get into details about the movie, I would assume that most people have seen Wayne's World. If you haven't, then go watch it. It's actually on Paramount Plus. I think I watched it on, and I think it's streaming in a few places right now. But Randy, for someone that has never seen the movie Wayne's World, what we would like you to do is I want you to walk us through the entire plot. Tell somebody who's never seen this movie exactly what it's about. And don't worry about spoilers because that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. So give us the plot of Wayne's World.
Yeah, I don't think spoilers exist 32 years later, but
Probably not.
Let's see. So Wayne, right? He is looking to start his own cable access show. And he does. Well, no, actually, he has his own cable access show. I'm sorry, right? But the reason why I actually brought that up is because that's kind of a piece of trivia to the movie. Is that's something that Mike Myers actually always wanted to do in real life, was start his own cable access show, but didn't want to fill out the paperwork for it. So never actually came to fruition for him. But it's a little bit of a love story, right? You have Wayne, we have Garth, and those two characters are based off of the SNL skit, which I think, first came out in the late 80s. And Wayne's World is also, I think, the second movie to, hit the theaters based off of an SNL skit. The first one being the Blue Brothers, right?
Blues, yeah.
Blues Brothers.
Yeah, the Blues Brothers.
When did the Coneheads come out? I mean, maybe they were after that.
Very shortly after this.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Wayne meets this girl, Tia. What's her? Her last name.
Tia Carrera.
Not the best. Carrera, right? I'm not the best at pronouncing it.
But her name was Cassandra.
Well, right. Her name in the movie is Cassandra, right? I'm doing
Wong. Yeah.
Giving her real name. Essentially, he falls in love with Cassandra. But we have Rob Lowe, right, who is trying to scout Cassandra and trying to basically steal her away from Wayne. And at one point, it seems like that's, what's taking place in the movie. Garth and Wayne get into a little fight about how the show is going because the show becomes a big hit. And you have Noah Vandergaard, he owns an arcade. He wants to promote the show. Rob Lowe convinces him to promote the show to make it, take it beyond cable access. And let's see. So there's that happening at the same time, right? You have Rob Lowe, who's trying to steal the show from Wayne and Garth and turn it into an actual television show, take it off cable access. And he's also trying to steal Wayne's girlfriend. And it looks like everything's falling apart for Wayne at some point. He loses his friend, he loses his girlfriend, and then it's a mission for Wayne to get them both back. And that's the best synopsis I can give you without dragging that on too long.
Are you really mad that I put you on the spot after you specifically were like, "Hey, what do I need to know?" Yeah, I had to keep that in the pocket there.
A little bit. I mean, I'm trying to remember it, as best as I can, and I don't, I'd rather would have done it in a good chronological order of, what actually took place in the movie instead of jumping around. But I think obviously everyone who's listening, I'm sure, has seen the movie, so they get the gist of it. Yeah.
Yes. And go ahead, Chris.
I don't know if that's true because you think about a movie from 1992. There's a lot of people that probably listen to the show that are, younger than us. I mean, hey, you guys are younger than me. And so when you saw this movie, like, what were you, like 8? Like, how old were you seeing this movie?
So
92.
I was probably 9. And Randy, that would make you 6. Were you 6?
So 92, I'm actually only 5. Because the movie was released in February. But Steve, you would probably know better. This is actually, and the reason why it could be one of my favorite movies of all time is it's my first memory of being in the movie theater. Now, I don't know if it was one or two though. Do you recall? It
Yeah,
was
so
two.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think we would have been too young to see this one in the theater, but I think that
Right.
it
Okay.
probably popped on HBO, the one thing that our parents paid for, and
Uh-huh.
we probably caught it there and recorded it and watched it a million times. We definitely owned the VHS. I own the
Yep.
DVD now, but I specifically remember that we went with our aunt to see Wayne's World 2 when it first came out in the movie theater because we were excited about it, and we actually stayed in the movie theater after the movie ended and watched it a second time. So we were in the movies for like 5 hours, which I don't know if you were officially allowed to do that or not, but we just did it.
Mhm.
You're not.
It definitely speaks to, you know, we were both probably a little young to really grasp everything that was going on here, but it was just such a silly, fun movie that had that rewatchability and that quotability that it kind of just stuck with us forever. Chris, you were also relatively young. Did you see it in the theaters or?
Yeah, look, I was the right age for this movie, like 12, 13 years old. I was aware of the SNL skit leading up to the movie, so I was pretty pumped about it. And if you think about the kind of jokes that this movie does for a 12, 13-year-old kid, it's like right up my alley, right? It's exactly what you can take right back to school and you can quote Schwing all day long, right? And that's what all the other kids want to hear, right? That's super funny. It's funny though, and I don't know. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I will. Living like beyond that, like into my teens and later, I think about experiences all the way down the line of what my friends would say in certain scenarios and in different manner, like different things that I never really, for whatever reason, connected back to this movie. That now, when I reflect on it, it was everywhere. Like the Foxy thing. Like I had a friend that did that, and I was like, "Oh, that's unique that you're doing that." And I forgot that that was in Wayne's World, but there it was. The Game On thing. We did that a million times, and it wasn't even just for hockey. It was for anything else. So we'll talk about that
I
more,
still
I'm
do that.
sure. But
I
you
still
still
say
do
that, like in pickleball, if I have to call a pause or game off, game on.
And I have a whole slew of things here, so I can't wait to kind of go through that stuff. But it's funny what kind of impact. And I did buy. I remember before this movie come out, in anticipation of it, there was this. I guess it was this cart at the mall that we would always go to that had this Wayne's World hat. And I told my parents, I'm like, I have to have this hat. Please, please buy me that hat. And they did. And all it really was it wasn't even embroidered. It was like one of those, just screen printed hats that said Wayne's World. But I love that hat.
Where's
Like
it
I
at?
wore it
I
everywhere.
thought you'd wear it tonight.
I think my brother took it and he has it.
Fucking younger brothers, man, always stealing your shit.
That's
That's
right.
right.
But I also had a Wayne's World t-shirt that I would wear to school all the time too. And it was like half Wayne, half Garth. I love that shirt. I think I still have it, but probably doesn't fit me. But a lot of memories from like the very beginning of me getting into this.
Yeah, I just dressed kind of like Garth because I had an Aerosmith t-shirt and that was like my favorite band at the time. So when Wayne's World 2 came out and Aerosmith was in it, that was pretty cool for me. That's why I was so psyched about it. But going back just a couple of, overarching facts about the movie. It was written by Mike Myers, Bonnie Turner and Terry Turner. It was directed by Penelope Sfeens and produced by Lorne Michaels. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures. It was released on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1992. Runs a nice, easy 95 minutes. It had a $20 million budget and brought in from the box office $183 million, which is the biggest, by far, the most successful box office movie of any of the SNL movies that preceded or came afterwards. So it was a big hit. People were amped to see this. They flocked to the theaters. It'd be funny if we looked up what else like came out. I don't even know if I'd know any other fucking movies from 1992, but of course, as you guys said, based on the SNL skit Wayne's World. and that's it. It did spawn a sequel, Wayne's World 2, and I'm excited to talk about this one.
Stoked.
You sound stoked. All right, where do we begin, Christopher?
Well, I was going to look at big movies of 1992.
Okay, so
do you really want to know?
Look it up. I'll ask Randy, do you remember other SNL-based movies? Is this the best SNL-based movie?
100%. Coneheads was just mentioned. A Night at the Roxbury. All I could think of off the top of my head right now. But
there's not that many, but there are some that are pretty bad.
What else we got?
Chris, you got any else? Do you remember? Or are you on the other
I
thing?
just pulled movies from 1992. I thought that's what you said.
Well, I did, but while you were researching, I was trying to fill the dead space. Other SNL movies included It's Pat, based on the character where you don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
Superstar.
Superstar. Yep. Stuart Saves His Family. There was another Blues Brothers movie, Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah, it was awful.
There was The Ladies' Man.
Ladies' Man. Wow.
That was a movie. Oh my God.
It was, and there was MacGruber, which was, I guess, more. It's not recent at this point, but more recent, and something called Please Don't Destroy. I don't think I know what that one is.
I'll tell you what, 92. There was some heavy hitters that year. You had Unforgiven. You had The Crying Game, which was a huge movie, of course. Well, I don't know if it was or not. Maybe it's just iconic. Reservoir Dogs, which may or may not have been kind of an indie movie, but still memorable for me. A movie you may have heard of by the name of A Few Good Men. A little cartoonish movie called Aladdin. The Bodyguard with that song, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct, and we all know what happened there. Scent of a Woman, which Al Pacino, Glengarry Glen Ross, and then Wayne's World.
So. I mean, those are some big movies, but not being the ages that we were. I don't know that I was particularly into any of those. I think the comedy is probably the only thing that was going to really draw me in.
You didn't watch Reservoir Dogs when you were 8 years old?
No, I have seen it now.
I don't know if we're looking at the same list here, Chris. Probably not, but I'm seeing some other ones. I mean, A League of Their Own.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Batman Returns.
That sounds about right.
That makes sense.
Lethal Weapon 3.
Sure.
Hook,
okay.
So it's a nice classic right there. But yeah, those are some other notables.
Big year for movies, 92.
Yeah.
So talking about Wayne's World, I think we all kind of went through our histories with the movie. I think we all like it. I think we know that. I think we all like this. Chris, is that I'm confident to say you like this movie?
I do, but I have some differing thoughts now, but that's not what you're asking. Yes, I did like the movie. It has gags. It's like full of just gags that I just loved. I loved at that point in time. Yes.
Love gag.
So it's hard to turn something that's like a 4-minute skit into an hour and a half movie. Do we think that like the script and the way it was written, is there something that maybe, didn't work about this, or is it pretty cohesive in terms of a singular story?
Yeah. Go ahead, Randy, if you want to sound off first.
I have no issues with this at all. I think it was great. Start to finish.
Nothing that you could see is like a plot hole, something that is there anything that's too far-fetched?
You mean any particular scene in the movie, or just...
Yeah, anything about it. Anything when you rewatch it now and you're like, that doesn't add up. I found a couple things.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I remember when Wayne's ex-girlfriend, was talking to some guy outside on a rooftop and falls through the roof. That was a little like, okay, someone's going to die if that happens, but he kind of just bounced off the couch, and it's a little unrealistic, right? But
that was lucky.
Oh, but you forgot about the fact that they fell through a plate glass
Yeah, yeah,
ceiling. Like
right,
you die.
right,
Like that's
right.
death.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That stands out a little bit, but um, no, I mean, let's hear what you got though, Steve. You said you got something for us. So what is that?
I got a few, unless you want to go first, Chris.
Nope. Go ahead.
All right, so first off, unrealistic but funny in the movie. Garth would never have brought a fucking taser into a concert venue and tased somebody in front of everybody and gotten clapped for it. I feel like that was a little far. That was just there for comedy. In terms of what ends up happening to Wayne, so Randy, you went through the plot a little bit, but so they signed this contract to basically sell their show to a production company, and then they kind of get screwed over because the production company is just trying to use it for their gain. But Wayne basically acts, or he seems like he is reading the entire contract. He's making a joke out of it. Oh, okay. I see what you did here. I like what you did here. And the camera pans to Garth underneath the table, who's like, I don't know. I don't trust this guy. But Wayne does kind of act like he read the contract. So the fact that he kind of gets big timed into allowing Noah Vanderhoff on the show later on, you would kind of think, all right, well, I guess Wayne either didn't read that contract or he was just putting on a show. I guess I'm nitpicking a little bit. One thing that I noticed about kind of the timeline and maybe the editing of the movie. So there's a scene where I call it the Babe Lair scene, right? That's where they go to Rob Lowe's. They go to his apartment and they find the condoms and they order the Chinese food and whatever, and then he gives them the passes. But right before that scene is the scene with the robot arm where basically Rob Lowe is saying, oh, I think we're going to give Noah a spot on the show. And Garth is like, oh, we fear change. We don't like it. And I feel like those scenes should have been like swapped. It seemed like he probably that was probably the first time where they realize that Rob Lowe is doing something shady. Whereas then all of a sudden they're at his apartment and everything is totally cool. So I thought that those scenes maybe were in opposite order. And again, I was kind of going through it with a fine tooth comb here. Maybe I'm getting too granular.
If I could just add something to that quick, because you brought up Garth with the taser. Watching this movie, the amount of times that I've watched it, which I mean, no exaggeration, has to be over 50 times. I at one point noticed when Garth and Wayne go backstage with Alice Cooper, Garth still has on his taser belt in that scene.
Oh,
and
really?
that is, yeah, and that's far removed from, when he actually was wearing it, previously in the movie. So that was interesting. I caught that at one point watching the movie over and over and over again.
Other things that maybe stood out that were, a little odd. So the whole thing where like Wayne broke up with Cassandra and then like immediately regretted it. Like I don't know, that was just weird because he just totally caused it. Like he went into attack mode and he was kind of an asshole for no reason. And then like, just because other things went wrong, he just like, it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, which I guess is, just some remorse afterwards. But the fact that like, she didn't like dump him or, what's his name? He didn't even do anything. Benjamin didn't even really do anything, at least in terms of like with Cassandra. But Wayne basically caused the entire thing and then immediately backtracks.
Anything else, Steve?
Yes. Okay. Benjamin was I don't know that Benjamin was ever I don't think it's ever really confirmed that Benjamin was trying to do anything other than help Crucial Taunt. If you think about it, he wasn't touching her. It was the snake. He didn't do anything real. There was film in the camera. He really never was caught and accused of, or he was never convicted of ever doing anything. So the fact that she just bailed on that video, I don't know that she, other than just like going back with Wayne, I don't think that really she maybe should have stuck that through. She had like a deal, a contract, and a music video. And then she's like, all right, I'll just go with Wayne and we'll try and get on and have Frankie Sharp Records hear this. Right?
Didn't Benjamin have a girlfriend, or do you think that was just a girl at the beginning? Like, are we led to believe that was just a random
in the opening
girl?
scene, he's with a girl in bed. I get
she's never heard of again.
I get the impression that he's just like a playboy.
Okay.
And then, well, Garth hacking, that was kind of funny, but you know, him on his little computer, like hacking the satellite system. And then there's the other thing that actually just doesn't make sense is that when Cassandra does ditch the music video to like run back to play at Wayne's basement or wherever they are, they leave without the band. So how'd the band get back to Aurora, Illinois? Because we just have no idea. She just leaves on her own. I don't think I ruined the movie for anybody, and it was definitely all nitpicking, but just
That's
some little things.
I get the nitpick now since you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so how old are these guys? They're supposed to be like in their 20s.
I would think mid-20s is what I would get. That would be my guess.
So they don't really have jobs. They just, I mean, he says at the beginning how he's held a bunch of jobs, but currently he doesn't. They just do that public access show, which for all intents and purposes, that's just basically podcasting, right? Back in 1992
with video. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's really no money involved per se. So like he just lives at home and has no job, and Garth does the same thing.
We don't ever know if Garth lives with his parents. We do see his house in a scene, but I don't know if I guess I would assume he does.
Oh, that's right, because his dog comes in to talks to him, but that's it.
Right.
So maybe that's his house. I mean, we don't know. But how do these guys sustain life? Like, how do they buy food? How do they go to the gas works if they don't have any money?
Well, you can tell that they don't have a lot of money because when they have to pay for the car, they have to come up with what is it, like $42, and they have like random. He literally had a roll of pennies in his pocket at one point. They're trying to put together $41.
Well, that was another nitpick. It's not a nitpick, but it was something I wanted to talk about, and that's $5,000. So $5,000 is not a ton of money in 2024. I mean, I'll take it, but it's not going to get you all that far in the long run. But what was $5,000 in 1992? Was that a lot more? Could you buy a car for $5,000? Probably, right?
You can still buy a car for $5,000 today. It's not going to be. It would probably look like the Mirthmobile.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it was a little bit more, but maybe not a ton. He was able to buy a CD player. He was able to buy the Fender Stratocaster guitar, which I'm not sure how much that cost. How much did that cost? $1,000?
As a non-musician, I wouldn't even know. Where's Punkish Dad at? He would know the answer to that. Yeah, so I would say $1,000 maybe.
I don't know what else they splurge their money on either. Like, did they talk about that other than just those couple things?
The licorice dispenser in the car?
Yes. It's good.
I mean, that's pretty high tech. It looked pretty gross though.
So you don't like rope licorice?
I don't not like it, but I just think about like that tiny little thing and you have to like load it up, and it looked like the little metal latch that they use to cut the piece. It just looked like rusty and nasty. Like I just get the like yucks thinking about eating that licorice.
A couple more things. So he was a real dick to Stacy. Like, I understand that like they're broken up, but he was a jerk to her, wasn't he? Like he couldn't have just found a different way to talk to her.
I think that I would defend Wayne in that I would suspect that at first, after the breakup, because they broke up 2 months before we first see her, I would suspect that at first he was nice and she is a psycho hose beast. So she is probably just pushed him to his breaking point, and that's where we meet the two of them.
Maybe, but you see how Wayne acts, though, you know, in situations like he's an idiot. So how do you know that he wasn't the one that caused all that to happen?
He's got a pretty good vocabulary for an idiot.
Okay, but maybe
he's
like
partier.
In relationship wise, he's an idiot, you know, because of the way he jumps to conclusions and so on and so forth. Okay, speaking of Cassandra, so we got the Gasworks, which, by the way, the Gasworks sign is on fire. I don't know how they do that, but pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
He says it's a heavy metal bar, but Crucial Taunt that's not heavy metal. Like that's I don't know what that is. It's like hair pop.
Yeah,
Like,
I find
so
it as that like kind of, you know, early 90s, late 80s kind of hard rock kind of thing.
that's not heavy metal though.
Yeah, but do people call Guns N' Roses heavy metal?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like heavy metal was like Megadeth.
Yeah, maybe they just mischaracterized the type of bar it was.
It didn't make any sense at all, and I didn't get it. And hey, the guy that got tased, by the way, this was another weird thing. Did they dub his voice in? Do you ever notice like when he says like, "What's your problem, you geek?" It sounds like it's not him.
Yeah, it definitely seems it's probably dubbed over at some point.
And then you knew that Tiny's meatloaf, right? We all see that.
Yeah, nice little cameo.
Let me just make sure that I didn't forget anything here. Police cam. Okay. So everything else we could probably talk about with the scenes. I did notice that here's the last thing. I don't know, like, okay, so how do I put this? When he wants to learn Cantonese, like I don't know if that flies anymore. Like the way that he did that was
Listening to it on an audio cassette.
very borderline, yeah, very racist undertones. How he did that.
Was it?
Yeah.
I've always wondered when he's listening to it, when he's learning it, and Garth brings up marriage, and he says shoplifting is marriage is punishment for shoplifting in some countries. Always wondered if that was actually true.
I think that's in jest.
That's in jest.
But I don't think it's racist. I didn't see it. I didn't find it racist. He was
I'm
trying to learn.
I'm not going to do
the
it.
language.
But
Zitai Bindua.
he didn't say it like that though.
I mean, he was probably just imitating what was on the cassette. Maybe it is. I don't know. I never took it that way.
It could be. It could be construed that way. I know. That's right. One more thing. That drink that they had, the Garth drink that he ordered when they were signing the contract. I actually saw Wingman Steve order that same drink on a bar crawl one time.
Oh yeah, didn't end up well that night. It did not end up well.
That did you in, and I actually that was one that I skipped. I would not drink that. Like I was like, just give me a beer.
It was slightly smaller, but not too much smaller. One other thing that's just kind of crazy to point out about this movie is just the fact that like the basic plot of this movie is that there is an arcade that is so big and they have so much money from marketing that an arcade company is sponsoring a television show. And like there's a marketing team just dedicated to how can they promote this arcade. And I don't know, I think it's just telling of the times. Because I mean, in 92 to 96, like we spent money in arcades. We went to arcades. But I just feel like arcades are kind of almost a thing of the past. Like you got your Dave and Buster's, there's a couple of, adult like barcade type places. But the arcade as it was back then, I don't think really exists anymore.
It doesn't like it did, but it definitely is making a resurgence this year. I can tell you that much. Like arcades are popping up everywhere. But to your point, yeah, that was a different time. It was, kids would hang out at arcades, and it was a thing. And yes, you could make a lot. I don't know about $1 million, but you can make a lot in an arcade if you were an owner. And Brian Doyle Murray is always one of my favorites, though. Like the just his voice. We all know that's Bill Murray's brother, right?
I didn't. I just knew he was in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's his brother, Brian.
Actually,
Doyle
was Groundhog Day 92 also?
I don't have it here that it is, but it could be.
Sounds around that time. Anyways, sorry to digress.
Yeah, no, it's good. It also, this movie had a lot of firsts. No, go ahead, Randy.
No, Brian Doyle Murray appearance on Seinfeld, Bubble Boy episode.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
Did you guys notice a lot of firsts in this movie? Like when I say firsts, I mean like gags that have stood the test of time, or maybe haven't stood the test of time through 2024, but were jokes that you heard over and over and over and over again, maybe throughout the 90s and early 2000s.
I think it's more just the lingo. Maybe not like the gags, but if you think about the lingo that spawned from Wayne's World, which was, a mix of the movie and the television, the SNL But you got Schwing, you got Party On, you got Excellent, Sphincter Says What, Game On, Game Off. And then there's one, maybe you're alluding to this, that it was way before the times and it got big. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
They in this movie, um, he goes, um, oh wait, are we through yet? Because I'm getting tired of holding this. And Wayne goes, that's what she said. That this is like the first. That's what she said. And that's
Is
what
it
she
though?
said is like. I mean,
Is it?
I don't remember it in popular culture really before The Office, but this is way before that. Wayne started. That's what she said. There
No,
you
I
go.
was thinking more like a sphincter said, because that's something that like everybody would say in the
So,
90s. So
I mean, obviously, this is just a common word, but the exaggeration on it, I still use the word, I still exaggerate it on it all the time. It's literally when Rob Lowe is explaining the reaction to Wayne about, Noah, and he says he literally jumped out of his seat. And that's how I still exaggerate literally to this day.
And Rob Lowe perfected that in was it in Parks and Recreation. He kind of changed a little bit to more like literally, but he stuck with that catchphrase throughout his career. And I'm a Rob Lowe fan. We'll get into the characters and the actors and stuff like that, but I enjoy Rob Lowe a whole lot.
oh, don't forget about the I love you gag. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
I love you. No, I love you. I swear, like I had friends that would do that all the time. And
thank you.
it's like that's where that came from. So yes, get Garth. Did we talk about Garth character? We didn't get into the characters yet, but there's a couple of things we could talk about there.
Let's get it. Let's start it off. You could start with Garth if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I think I've talked too much. Why don't you guys, Randy, you want to start things off and talk about your feelings on Garth Algar?
Feelings on Garth Algar. I feel like, I don't know, his could have had a stronger presence. It felt like he was you know, I wasn't the strongest supporting actor, I guess you could say, right?
In terms of his
Because
performance or in terms of like what was written for him?
I guess a little bit of both. But I mean, I guess his performance is how it's supposed to be based off the SNL skits. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of both. It's because it's the two of them, right? I mean, the movie's called Wayne's World, but it's the two of them that run the show, and it's a lot Wayne, not so much Garth, and I don't know if he really has a lot of like notables, right, from the movie. I mean, I feel like a lot of things came from Wayne. I don't know if he has a lot of notable quotes in the movie, but I mean, listen, his character, it suits the part. It was good.
Yeah, he's kind of. We talked about that thing you do last week. He's like Lenny. He's like kind of the lovable fool. Like you can't help but love the guy. He's silly. You get the impression that he's like not the smartest, but then he also has this thing about him where he's like super good on the computer. Maybe almost like an autistic kind of person, where they have certain personality traits, socially awkward, but they have certain personality traits that really shine and do well. I think he's a pretty good sidekick. I think Dana Carvey is hilarious. I think that they didn't write him too much of, they wrote him as a sidekick. And in Wayne's World 2, they give Garth a little bit more of a story, and they give him a love interest. And even though he had somewhat of a love interest, but it was really just a daydream scene. But I think they wrote a little bit more for him in Wayne's World 2. And maybe he wanted that. I think I read it like historically, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, had some falling out over the years, and they didn't get along that great. And it may have come down to, screen time and what was best for this character. I think he did a pretty good job. I think he's got some good quotes, but he's what a lovable sidekick should be.
I disagree to a point. I think they were very inconsistent with Garth. I think there was, the basis of the character for me was fine. Like he was the introvert. It was introvert humor is what it was. And played correctly, I think that can be funny and entertaining to a point, but he almost was written and maybe this was Dana Carvey's like maybe it was him doing this, but some of the lines he delivered were just incredibly like babyish. Like, I'd like to get by now. Like no one, that's just like, why do you put that there? Like, he talks differently in other
Mhm.
ways, in other areas of the movie that aren't like that, and I think that are just delivered so much better for that character. So very inconsistent. And I think that he does things again they think are funny or they think are weird. It just doesn't it doesn't land. I didn't really love the smashing of the hand with the hammer. Like, I guess that was maybe just a sight gag, but it just didn't make sense to me. I don't know. Like, some
I I think no, I think for me, you just nailed it. You elaborated a lot better than what I was trying to portray. Um, One interesting fact that I saw was Dana Carvey modeled Garth after his brother Brad.
mm, okay.
So, I mean, I don't know who his brother Brad is, right? But I guess that's kind of Brad's uh, personality. But yeah, no, you just hit the nail on the head for me. That's what I was trying to get across exactly. A
Yeah.
lot of inconsistencies and stuff. Yeah.
Because he could be he could be like a character you could like really want to see, and then the next beat, it's like, ugh, like this guy, like seriously, like stop it, dude. So I honestly, I think that's what that is. And other than that, I just very it's semi shallow in this movie. They didn't give him a ton to do. I can say that, growing up thinking about this movie as a kid, as a 13, 12-year old, the laugh out loud part for me was when he would fall, when he would just get like blasted against the wall or fall over when he saw his crush in the diner. For some reason, I thought that was so funny, and I don't anymore. But it was something that stuck out to me.
His facial expressions was probably his best performance.
Yeah, like when they're doing the suck cut, he's doing a little bit of that slapstick kind of humor in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't like Dana Carvey. I don't think I honestly don't really. I don't know about him. Like, I just don't like him I don't like him as a comedian. I don't think he's that funny. So
I like Dana Carvey. He's not a favorite comedian, but I think I watched one of his, I don't know, sometime in the last 10 years, I watched a comedy special, and I think I heard him on Howard or maybe
yeah,
Smartless or something like that.
and I probably think Mike Myers is probably I like him even less. But I'll tell you what, we can talk about Wayne. Unless anything else on Garth, can we move on to Wayne?
Go to Wayne. Party on, Wayne.
I like Mike Myers less because I think this is just a bias against Mike Myers because I have this just intense dislike for Austin Powers. I don't want like like, hey baby, like, hey baby, like I cannot hear that anymore in my life. People would bombard you with that for so many years, and it's just like, okay, like, get in my belt. Like, how many times are you gonna say that when it's not funny anymore? Like,
It's just
so maybe
your,
that
just not your bag, baby.
I mean, it's not funny. There's nothing fun. There's not humor. Like, that's not my bag. If you're trying to be funny and it's not funny, then I don't like that. No,
Is this an anti-Canadian thing, Chris? Do we have a bias somewhere?
no, because Rick Moranis is amazing, and he's Canadian. He's Canadian, right?
That was a good one to pull out of your pocket. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, Mike Myers. I mean, and I'm sure he's had characters on SNL that were good. I do think the character of Wayne was supposed to be charming. It was supposed to be innocent. Like, he's supposed to be the guy that like kind of knows what's going on. I think his jokes just like they mostly don't land to Chris now. Chris then. I could see where I would think that he was cool as like a 12, 13-year old and want to do the things he did. But looking back on it, I'm like, man, this guy's a doofus. Like, really, like, Schwing. Where does that come? Where do you do that? How does that work?
When you talk about Heather Locklear on a television show.
Okay, so you pump your pelvis towards what? What are you doing there?
How many times did you do the D-Generation X thing?
That's not the same thing.
Oh, come on. That's the same type of shit. That's even worse. That's
simple.
you're saying suck it and putting an X near your pelvis.
Okay, but I didn't do that to people. I didn't walk up to people and do it.
Well, neither does he. He's doing it with his friends in private. Well, and on TV for comedic effect.
I can't believe you're defending Schwing.
I'll defend Schwing. I'll defend Mike Myers. I'll defend Wayne. I think Mike Myers is a gem. I heard he was pretty difficult to work with, but I don't have to work with him. I just watch his shit, and I thought he was great on Saturday Night Live. I thought he was great here. His comedic delivery, his voice inflection is just really, really well done. He knows kind of how to pause. He does sometimes like play up the Canadian accent a little bit, which is funny because they're from Chicago, but the Canadian accent does come through. And no, I liked the what is it, the Austin Powers movies. I don't mind the Austin Powers movies.
I could see you liking those. Yes.
I thought he should have done. He kind of disappeared from the acting world from a long time, and he was in that movie. I think it was called 54. It was about Studio 54 in New York, where it was a dramatic role. I think he could have been a good dramatic actor too, but he kind of fell off and just did nothing for a whole while. I'd like to see more of him. I think Mike Myers is great. The SNL stuff. I mean, that's when I first started watching SNL. So those were the years that are like kind of, some of my favorites. Hello, my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings. Like he's pretty good, and I think he was really good in this movie.
Big fan of Mike Myers. I don't see. I can't relate to Chris on this one like I did with Garth at all. I don't see how you could like him less than Dana Carvey. That's a little crazy, but yeah, I think no, I love Mike Myers. Fan of Boston Powers. Was happy, yeah, and like you said, right, he kind of disappeared for a while. I don't know if anybody caught the movie Amsterdam, but he made an appearance in that. That was in 2022. And it was just like I saw him, and I was like, oh, look, it's Mike Myers. I was very excited to see him like on television again. It'd been so long. I felt like, but in the movie in general, Wayne's World, I think he nailed the character.
I mean, it's him. They wrote it for him. He wrote it. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can't not nail that.
Right. All the quotables that, you get from him, his mannerisms, everything. I don't know. It's tough. I feel like a lot of the start of this podcast has been a lot of nitpicking at the movie.
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Just sit here and sing the praises?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like it was a lot, and I wasn't prepared for all that, but.
So be a shining light. Tell us all the great things. Well, after I think we're pretty much done shitting.
We'll talk about. We're just going through like maybe one. We already talked about Benjamin a little bit, right? So, anything on Cassandra Wong?
Wait, I want to talk Benjamin just a little bit, just a little.
Okay. Well, why don't you do Cassandra's next on my list? Do Cassandra first.
Oh, okay. I didn't have your list. I didn't know.
I know you don't.
Do you guys know that Tia Carrera sang all her own vocals for all the songs on this movie?
Yeah. But okay, here's another nitpick. Do you know that crucial time? So their number one hit is what? Ballroom Blitz, and that's not even their song. That's a cover, right?
Who sings the original? I don't know.
Another band.
Okay. I mean, you mean the number one hit, the song that they like pulled to at the end?
That's what I take from it. Yeah. Basically, that's the song
they were
want
recording
to feature.
The video for Why You Want to Break My Heart.
But I thought Ballroom Blitz was like the big one.
I think in the movie, that does shine the most because it's the final one that they perform. But if you think about it, like Benjamin was shooting the video for Why You Want to Break My Heart, not Ballroom Blitz.
So which was a bigger one?
A bigger where?
In the grand scheme of things.
In reality or like in the movie?
In the movie, Ballroom Blitz was a bigger song. Which, by the way, like I buy that then, because for me, like a cover can be, if done right, it can be a memorable song that they can market after the fact on the soundtrack, because soundtracks were big then, which I'm sure this sold a lot because of that song.
So yeah, it's also the song that sells Frankie Sharp on signing her to a record deal. He hears that, the limo does the 360 or 180, tires spin out. He's like, we gotta go check this chick out.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. So, did you guys like her? Was she a good actress? Did you like the character? Any thoughts?
Randy, you want to
go? Schwing. She's a smoke show.
Super Babe.
Mega Fox.
Baby Majora.
La Renard.
she was the president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, I liked her in the movie. I don't got any issues. I don't have a lot of issues with this movie, apparently, as you guys can see, but the no, I think she did good, and yeah, man, she's a fox.
Perfect casting for this. I mean, I'm sure that there might be somebody else who could fit this, but she's a babe. She's a babe. She can wail. She can sing very well. Like she pulls it off, right? It's not that thing you do anymore. Like some of these songs are harder to sing, and she doesn't play the music, but she can wail. She can sing, and she plays a badass. I mean, she shows like compassion. She's got a little cutesy, lovey scene. Her character opens up. I mean, the whole scene where they're speaking Cantonese is all kind of the fact that they're actually talking. They're having a really deep conversation about like inner beauty, but it all is kind of becomes a joke around the fact that it's subtitled. And, sometimes the English translation is much longer than I guess the Cantonese sounds. But I think she's a pretty deep character. Like I said, she's a badass. She doesn't take any shit. She's obviously the leader of the band. She's looking out for the other people, but not like leaving them behind. So I think she's a great cast. And yeah.
She knows Kung Fu.
Yes. And if she dressed up like a girl bunny, then I would find her attractive. So there's that.
There is that. All right. I will keep my comments to myself on her. We can move
you don't
on
like
to
Cassandra?
Benjamin. No, man, I don't.
Why not?
I'm sorry. I just don't. I
did
don't
say
know.
you like this movie. I thought.
I do.
That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around here. I mean,
there's a clear delineation between Chris in 1992 and Chris in 2024. It just I don't see the movie the same way that I did then that I do now, unfortunately. But I can tell you, even back then, growing up, like I was not really into Tia Carrere whatsoever. I thought she was wooden. I just like the charisma, even though like again this is pre Austin Powers, the charisma of Mike Myers and in the scenes with her was really the only thing that carried her through these scenes. I don't. I mean, did she do a lot of other stuff after this?
Wasn't she in one of the Bad Boys? I feel like she was in one of those action movies.
Maybe. I don't know, but
I don't think she did a ton after it. Not stuff that was mainstream enough that I saw it.
I think they brought her in because she could sing, because she, had that look that they were looking for, and that was pretty much it. But hey, good for her. She's in one more movie than I'm in, so that's really all I could say.
At least one.
Benjamin
True
Rob
Lies.
True Lies. Okay.
True Lies.
I knew one of those action movies around that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big hit. So what about Benjamin?
Benjamin.
You guys like Benjamin?
So Benjamin, played by Rob Lowe. I love Rob Lowe, and Rob Lowe plays a sleazebag really well. That slicked back hair, his the way he dresses, it's kind of funny because he's supposed to be like some fucking hotshot, but in 1992, he's kind of got like baggy pants and like his shirt his tucked in button down shirt is like way too big, and he's talking on that cordless phone like he's so cool talking in Cantonese. So he just plays a sleazebag so well, and it's only a couple of years later that he's playing another sleazebag in Tommy Boy, and then he can also play the character that you love. Like I forget his name in Parks and Recreation, but you hear him as a person, as an actor. I feel like he's awesome, and the character of Benjamin is obviously, a slicked back douchebag who's just trying to make money for himself and for the executives. But I think he plays it well. He plays it well. And he definitely did try and exploit Wayne and Garth. We know that from when they read his diary. However, I don't know that he was really trying to pull a fast one on Crucial Taunt. I think he was actually trying to help.
I don't know. I mean, I think they gave off the impression, right, with the Babe layer, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
you know, he was obviously trying to swindle her away from Wayne because Wayne's just this poor guy and he's got all of this money and she's a smoke show and why not, you know? And like you said, he's a sleazebag. We see him in bed with this girl in the opening scene and then we never see her again. And
Yeah,
he's
but
putting
just because
all
he's
the,
got money and he's good looking doesn't necessarily mean he's trying to
well,
steal this girl.
well, now there's also the scene when she's doing the video, not towards the end when she's got the snake on, right? But when she's singing "Why You Want to Break My Heart." Oh no, no, I don't think she was singing that one. But when he first goes to see Cassandra, right? She gives him the flyer or whatever to go to one of her shows. Forget what song was playing, but he's trying to wail out and Rob Lowe's trying to wail out at the same time. You know, it's like they're both trying to get her attention. So they're giving that impression off that like this is becoming a battle between who's going to win Cassandra. So I don't know. That's why I feel like that was his intent. Is, you know, maybe not his main intent. Maybe, yeah, he's a sleazeball. He wants to make money, right? So he's hoping to exploit the show, exploit her. But at the same time, if he can get laid, why not?
Maybe, but not confirmed.
Maybe.
You know, like
Maybe.
in Wayne's World 2, Christopher Walken straight up tries to marry her, right? Like that's intent. He was just making a video, dude. He just listen.
Man.
I'm sorry. I'm rich. I'm good looking. I got a cool job. I got a cool car. You know.
He had
Doesn't
the
mean
90,
I want your girl.
He had the 90s condoms. I mean, he had them ready to go, right? So they were there.
They were
so that
ribbed
was
for
his
her
intent.
pleasure. That's good. He's practicing safe sexual experiences. That's smart. Maybe he's not as bad as you think.
You got to put 2 and 2 together. But he's such a great character. So you guys want me to be positive? Like, here we are. Like, this is amazing. You know what one of the funniest things he said was when what's his name? I'm sorry, the characters.
Vanderhoff, Noah Vanderhoff.
When Vanderhoff's wife says, it just fell out of my mouth, like Noah's arcade. He just stopped for a second. And he was like, that's because you're creative. That was so well. And then also when Vanderhoff was like, I need to think about this. And he was like, yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. He just, the lines that he delivers is his timing is amazing as this character. He's outstanding. So Rob Lowe, bravo. You knocked it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park on this one.
Proud of you, Chris.
Big fan.
So other than that, there's really kind of just a bunch of minor characters, right? You got the whole crew. You got Stacy. You got Noah Vanderhoff. You have a couple of cameos. Chris Farley pops in. Ed O'Neill. I don't know if you want to consider him a character.
That's the best part. That's the best part of the movie. That part where the camera goes after him, and he starts talking about like
ripping someone's heart out of their chest and seeing.
No, he's
steam.
like, why is it if you murder a man in battle, it's you get commended, but if you have one night where things go the wrong way, then they and that's probably not exactly, but it's like the look on his face is just so intense, and that's comedy, like that's funny. Like Ed O'Neill is funny, and I think he did that in one little scene in this movie. So good for him.
I like watching it now. I like seeing him young because I did watch Married with Children as a kid, but that like the image of Ed O'Neill in my head is like the Modern Family Ed O'Neill, like the grandpa, getting super old. So like watching this movie again now and seeing how young he looked, it kind of just made me smile a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about your buddy and the drunk guy? So what's his name?
Phil. I mean,
if you could spew into this.
He's gonna honk.
He's kind of only in that one scene.
You got Alice Cooper too, right?
Alice Cooper cameo.
No, Phil's in multiple scenes. What are you talking about? Is Phil the one that inspects the car too? Is that still Phil?
Yeah, it is. That's him not wasted.
So right. He's like always wasted.
Shop.
And he's almost always ready to throw up. Is that what we're led to believe?
Yes.
That makes me want to throw up. Like that makes me a little sick when I see him like that.
They make him look like he's on meth, even though it's insinuated that he's just drunk.
He just drinks a lot. And he sits on benches and waits for them to pick him up or waits for them to drive by. Is that what it is?
92, man. No beavers, no cell phones. People say, oh, I'll meet you here. They'll pick you up when they pick you up.
Maybe Rob Lowe had a cell phone.
Actually, it's true. Did he have a cell, or was it just cordless?
I don't know. It was such a big phone. And the picture I'm seeing in my head makes me think it was a cell phone.
Like, good to know. Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's it, right? What other characters were of note? Like, I guess we don't know. We don't know Wayne's parents. We don't know Garth's parents. We
There's
know Garth's
Russell. He's
dog.
kind of he's an ancillary
Russell,
character, but he kind of
yes.
he's like the guy who starts off kind of being the bad guy, and then he kind of comes around to the good side
You got
when
old
Garth
man.
strips him of
something.
his flashlight.
Who's the amusement park guy? Old man something.
Old man Withers.
Yeah, old man with.
That was just that was kind of silly. So let's talk about that ending for a little bit. Obviously, we're treated to not one but three endings with diddly doo in the middle. Is that a funny move, or is that kind of a cop out cheap move that they didn't know how to write the proper ending to the movie? What do you guys think?
I actually that's probably my only gripe with it was I wasn't the biggest fan of what they did right there at the end. It was like, all right, just give us an ending. I don't need all this, extra fake endings. That's probably my only gripe with the movie, actually, to bring it up.
Chris, what do you think about the three
No,
endings?
I think they call it fished in. They fished us in. Is what they say at the end. Yeah.
You know, I loved it back then. Like when I first saw this movie, I thought that was the funniest thing. I thought it was so creative. Like I was into that. And how iconic the Scooby-Doo ending. Like I feel like I said that so many times, and that was parodied, that was like parodied so many times and other things, throughout pop culture. Like that was a big deal. So, nobody else had ever done anything like that up through that point. And I think it wasn't maybe because they did three different endings, but because they did the Scooby-Doo ending. That's probably what really did it, because you weren't expecting that. So I think that's the bright and shining star there.
I like the fact that they made the bad ending the first one that you see. So you're like, holy, like, because they even said, like, are you really going to end the movie like that? Like, we can't really end the movie like that. Like, everything falls to shit. The thing with Frankie Sharp doesn't work out, and Benjamin comes back, and then they go Scooby-Doo, and then they go mega happy ending. And by that point, you're like, all right, well, I mean, this is a gag. Obviously, this isn't the end of the movie. And no, I'm not mad about it, but I guess it's a little bit of a lazy writing tool to kind of pander to the audience and write, a bad ending, a silly ending, and a good ending. But again, for what it is, which is a Saturday Night Live skit turned into a movie, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I mean, are we talking about other scenes? Because I don't think that we can get away from talking about scenes and not talk about the iconic car scene where they sing Bohemian Rhapsody. And I can tell you that I didn't know that song, Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't know that then. Like I just thought it was a really interesting song, but I didn't know what it was.
I did not. That is Wayne's World is the reason why I first heard that song, without a doubt.
But I was just going to say real quick, any walk of life, and you could show that scene. I guarantee you, like that spans decades. Like people know that scene. Like I think I've seen it in I don't know, like maybe flashes, like montages of like iconic scenes on whatever I was watching here and there. I don't know. It's just such a big deal. So go ahead, Randy. I know you're trying to say something.
Yeah, no, I read somewhere that they obviously, when you're doing, scenes, you probably have to do them multiple times, that they were they were banging their heads so much that Wayne and Garth, it hurt their necks.
Mike Myers was pissed.
And it's noticeable in certain scenes where like they're not trying to turn their neck or head as much because they had to, bang their head so many times doing that scene. But definitely it's a great scene.
I also read that the whoever it was, the production company or somebody, was pushing them to do a different song, and Mike Myers insisted that it had to be Bohemian Rhapsody. And they actually, had to get Queen's permission to use that song, and it was right. I think it was it was right after I think Freddie Mercury died. So somebody else in the band eventually did give them permission because they saw the scene and said it was so hilarious.
It fit. I mean, I obviously we don't know what else they could have used there. I would have liked to have known maybe what the alternatives were, but for that to work the way it did, I think that was really the perfect song where everybody could kind of get involved and sing. And it's a long one too, so they could do the long car ride. But what a great choice.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Any other
Excellent.
scenes stick out to you guys?
Go ahead, Randy. What do you think?
I like the scenes when, they, I've always wanted to do this ever since watching it, when Wayne and Garth are just hanging out on the roof of their car and the plane's coming over, and it's so low. I thought that was so cool back then when I was watching it as a kid, and I've always wanted to do that ever since, but I'm sure I'd probably go to jail if I tried something like that. I love the scene. I love the opening scene, not the very first opening scene, but at Stan Mikita's Donuts. I think there was a lot came out of that one. My favorite quote came out of that one.
Kind of the introductions.
Yeah, the introductions, exactly. I thought that was good.
By the way, Chris, the studio and Lorne Michaels originally wanted to use a Guns N' Roses song, but Myers demanded Bohemian Rhapsody and threatened to quit the production unless it was used.
Oh yeah, that's a million times better than using a Guns N' Roses. I mean, what would they like? Welcome to the Jungle? Like, no.
Go ahead, Randy. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's I like the scene when Wayne is singing "Happy Birthday" to Cassandra, and I don't like it because Mike Myers is in his underwear, but I just thought that was a really funny scene.
There's something funny about tidy whities, I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, those are a couple of mine. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would say the show where they have to do the show under the new rules and the new theme song, and Wayne does the cue cards with Vanderhoff. That's a standout scene, I think. I agree. Wayne and Cassandra in bed. That whole scene is pretty funny. The Cantonese conversation, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 when they're trying to teach him how to do they're trying to teach him how to do the show in. There's a funny like little mini kind of scene where they're basically being silly about selling out and saying they won't sell out, but they're eating Pizza Hut and having Nupril or Advil and Nuprin and Pepsi and making it silly there.
I will not bow to any sponsor.
That's right. When they hang out with Alice Cooper, that's pretty cool. What else? The Wayne and Garth fight. That one kind of stands out. I feel like it's more of a movie of like little jokes than it is song like big scenes, but I don't know. Those are some of the ones that I wrote down.
Also, when they're doing they're in front of the screen and they're jumping from city to city.
Oh yeah.
I'm in New York. I'm in Delaware. Yeah.
Hi. I'm in Delaware.
I say that every time I drive into Delaware, and I only live about 30 minutes from Delaware, so it's more often than you'd think.
I think you guys might have covered everything that I had here. I don't have anything else, and we've talked about a lot to this point. So we didn't say anything about the Grey Poupon gag, but I didn't think that was very funny. Again, maybe at 12 years old I did, but now I'm like, ugh.
That was very of the times though, because that was such a huge commercial, like right then. Randy, do you remember we literally used to do that? Yeah.
I was going to say, yes, I do. When we lived in Deer Park, I remember actually stopping cars in the street to do that, thinking it was like the funniest thing in the world, but people probably wanted to run me over with their car. But yes, I do.
We definitely did that. But again, it's not funny now, but if you're in 92, 93, whatever, and you see that commercial, because again, it's not Netflix's, it's all TV where you have to watch commercials, and you see that commercial 1,000 times, I think it's a good little parody. I don't think it's that funny now.
I think the suck cut skit was funny. It's funny because the suck cut guy was funny. I think that they had the perfect casting for that guy. because at the end of the day, like the suck cut, that's low hanging fruit to parody because it's so dumb to begin with. I mean, I don't know.
Certainly does suck.
Did you know anybody that actually bought a Floby? I have to ask you this question.
Do I
Do
know
you
what a
know any?
Floby is?
You
Yeah,
don't
I
know
was
what a
gonna say,
Floby is?
no idea.
That's what that is. That was a real product
Oh,
called the Floby that was exactly what the suck cut is. That was a parody of that. And they
Interesting.
sold it on infomercials. I guess it might have been the late 80s. I don't know. But yeah, it was like a vacuum cleaner that would cut your hair.
that
And
was over my head because I
look
didn't.
it up.
Yeah,
Look it up, the Floby.
the Floby. Okay.
So,
How
okay, never mind. You knew nobody that had that.
about when they're in the donut shop and they Wayne opens up the door and it's just like a bunch of guys acting out an action scene for a movie, and he's like, "I just always wanted to open the door and see that." That was funny.
That's pretty silly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That did a whole lot for me, but it's fine. Again, it's a comedy movie. It's like a silly comedy. Like you can do stupid shit like that. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
so yeah, let's just go on to the next thing. Like, I don't know, like we talked about a lot of things that we probably already. This next conversation is about maybe things we'd like to see different, but I think we've already kind of talked about a lot of the things that we kind of thought were weird or odd or didn't necessarily like. So I don't know if I have much more to add here on what I would have changed, other than the fact that I just I
You would have
think they
changed. You would have changed different actors for Wayne, Garth, Cassandra.
no, because I think with certain tweaks, like I already talked about Garth, like tweak, just make it more of a consistent character. But with Mike Myers, like I with Wayne, I feel like if they would have just because these guys are supposed to portray what like early '90s burnouts, like, but they're supposed to have a lot of character, a lot of charisma because they're on public access, so they're supposed to be goofy, like that's part of it.
They're me and you,
But
Chris.
I just think it's Wayne is so over the top, like a caricature of a caricature that they don't you didn't need to do that to make it be funny. Like I feel like he could have been that burnout guy that he's supposed to be with with a quirkiness to him that wasn't just like stare at the camera with a smile. It was just kind of awkward and weird. Like I just would have dialed all that down, and maybe it wouldn't have been as good of a movie to the audiences in 1992 if that were the case. Maybe that wouldn't have been true to the characters that were in the skit inside Saturday Night Live because I don't necessarily recollect those too well. But as I watch it now, that's what I probably would have changed. As kind of looking back from now until then. So if you guys don't have anything, that's fine. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's very little that I would probably change. I was nitpicking just for the sake of going through it and pointing out some inconsistencies, but I wouldn't necessarily change them. Maybe I would have changed some minor things in the third act, the whole when, Wayne breaks up with Cassandra and whatever, but nothing major enough. I think it's totally fine. There's not a glaring hole that I think needs to be filled.
Okay.
Is Randy still there? Where'd you go? Oh, there he
I'm
is.
still here.
He
I'd have to
laid down. He had to get comfortable.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like I said, I love this movie. There's really nothing I would change. Maybe a little bit more Chris Farley. That would have been cool, right?
Yeah.
But I guess
He
that's
gets a little
not-
more time in Wayne's World too.
He does. Yes. But
Oh, that's right. We didn't even mention that. We didn't even mention Chris Farley.
He's
Steve
only in it
Burke.
for a half a second. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great part of the movie.
It is.
It's called foreshadowing.
He doesn't even need more than a minute to stand out. So more Chris Farley. More Chris
Agreed.
Farley.
Lost him too early.
We want to talk
Don't do
about
drugs.
soundtrack at all, Steve?
The soundtrack got to #1 on the Billboard 200, #1, and sold over 2 million copies. That's certified double platinum,
Jeez,
and
man.
it's
That's crazy.
yeah. Soundtracks were a big moneymaker in the early '90s. I mean, it's '80s, '90s hard rock. You got your Queen, you got some Red Hot Chili Peppers, Black Sabbath, you get some Jimi Hendrix, Alice Cooper. it's not really my wheelhouse when it comes to music, but I think it fits what they were trying to do perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, here's a trivia question that I don't know the answer to. But when he put the music on in the car with Cassandra in the CD player, I think I know the band, but do you have any idea what that song was?
Of course. It was, "Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blew my mind, hey Mickey."
No, not what they sang. The song they put on.
Oh, and he says that that's the last song he heard before they leave the house. No, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what it was.
I
Randy.
definitely don't. Yes, definitely not.
I know that the Red Hot Chili Peppers song is definitely on when they're driving. I think it might be when they're driving to Milwaukee, though.
I think that's Red Hot Chili Peppers, though.
That one? It could have been that one. Manico. I don't know how to say that. I forget. I know the song. I don't know how to say the title.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, I mean that song is on the soundtrack.
Then that's probably what it is. I don't know if that's actually off of one of their
Pick a
albums.
Mechanico.
Sicka Mechanic. Yeah, that's how you say it.
Mechanic. Okay. I mean, you can listen to any Chili Pepper song and know that it's a Chili Pepper song. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I just wish that one day they would write a song about California. That'd be cool.
Here we are. Oh, behave, Steve.
Behave. Look at you. We should do. Too bad Austin Powers doesn't fit into movie May. Maybe we should force it in.
No, maybe we shouldn't.
I mean, they do have those musical breaks. Down. They have those.
We already did Awful April. We don't need to do that. I don't need to do more awful movie that doesn't mix with anything. I don't have anything else to say about the soundtrack outside of what you said. So it's pretty straightforward there. Guys, anything else to say about this movie before we move into our next segment?
Only listen, Saturday Night Live is part of pop culture, and this movie became part of pop culture. And not every one of those SNL movies hit the mark. I mentioned a bunch of them that did not. This one did. I mean, this one cemented itself, I think. Even if you don't like Saturday Night Live or you're not, I think everybody in the world, at least in my opinion, knows this movie somewhat or has been affected by it or remembers something from it. So I think, just the box office itself doesn't reflect how popular this really is. Randy was 6 years old, 6 years old when this came out, and somehow it's his favorite movie. Like, it says something. This is a pretty good movie.
Sure. But I can say that I think this was the most unfunny era of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Like Chris Farley maybe was like the stand, like he definitely was a stand on.
I mean, Farley, Sandler.
No.
Wow.
No, the best era was not this. The best era was Will Ferrell and that era.
Spade, all those guys. They were so. I love this.
Tracy Morgan, Will Ferrell. What would that be, like late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, I can't say I don't like that one, but I came up on SNL during this type of cast, so I couldn't say anything bad. Like you got Kevin Nealon and Norm Macdonald doing the Weekend Update. I mean, these were.
I'm not saying it was bad.
Times.
I'm just saying it was not my favorite. Like I didn't think it was as funny as maybe some of the other eras. That's all. So there were funny comedians, but as an era, I didn't like it as much. Like you're right, Norm Macdonald. But was Norm Macdonald always with Mike Myers? I don't know. Like I think he might have been a little bit later.
It's hard to have the timeline without like pulling it up on Wikipedia or something like that.
Well, we're not going to do that today because we have to get to the next segment. And everybody, this is the segment we call Ranking It. And we're not going to rank anything. We're not doing that in Movie May. What we're doing instead is giving our top, right? Our top of the top in 3 different categories. And then we are ranking this movie from 1 to 10. So we're kind of ranking, but in a different way. And so, Randy, you're going to kick us off. And for everybody that's doing that, of course, me included, the 3 categories that we are going to give our favorite for is favorite scene, favorite song, favorite quote. And then after you give those three, that's when you're going to give your overall score, from 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. So we normally let guests go first, and that means, Randy, you are up. So you want to kick things off with favorite scene.
Let's kick it. Favorite scene: Wayne and Garth on the hood of his car. There was 2 of those scenes. There was the first one when they were, Wayne was talking about Cassandra and how much, he was infatuated with her. And then there was the scene where, again, they're both in the hood of the car, and Wayne and Garth, will get into an argument, and then the plane goes over, and you can't hear what either one of them are saying, and you don't know what's being said that entire time, right? And then at the end of it, kind of picks up, and I can't remember exactly what he says right at the end of that, but something with a knife, right? But the first one was more of my favorite. The first one, when he's
Kiss
talking
your mother
about,
with that mouth.
Yeah, you kiss your mother with that mouth, right? But no, the first one I think was my favorite scene. Favorite song. This is probably an unpopular take, but I'm gonna have to say "Why You Want to Break My Heart." That's actually my favorite song.
Slow jam.
Slow jam. Favorite quote. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I gonna do with a gun rack? That's the favorite quote. Give the film an overall score. I don't want to just say 10 because it's my favorite, right? I mean, but I'm gonna go with like a hard 8.5, somewhere between that range, 8.5, 9 for me. Again, it's just, a little bit biased. It's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. So
Awesome.
Steve.
All right. I think my favorite scene, and again, I feel like this is a movie that's more about the quotes, and it's kind of hard hitting, and it's less about these like big dramatic scenes. I think my favorite scene is Wayne and Cassandra in bed, because there's a lot. It starts off with the camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, and that's a pretty it's a clever directing and filmography type of thing to do that I have never seen it done before or after. So on top of that, he does that like funny thing with his belly. Who's Anthony? Who's Anthony? And he's just trying to fucking distract her while she's on the phone. And he does the Marilyn Monroe thing. So I'll go with that. There was strong second to when he embarrasses Noah Vanderhoff. But I'm going to go with Wayne and Cassandra in bed. And it's a sweet scene, and he gets text across the screen saying gratuitous sex scene, and that's pretty cool for him. He likes that, and I think that's funny too, to tell the audience what's going to happen. What's next? Favorite song. So I think that in context, in the movie, I think that Foxy Lady and Dreamweaver kind of do that thing where they stop and make you pay attention to it and focus on it. So I think they're used best, but I think my favorite song is the Ballroom Blitz song. Overall, I think that at the end, that song's just like a kick-ass rock song, and it's got that hard bass line. So I think I'm going to go with Ballroom Blitz. I was hoping Randy was going to pick a different quote, because that's definitely the best quote in the movie. I have 4 other ones that, Chris, after you're done, I want to say some other quotes. But the gun rack quote, 100% is the funniest line in the movie. He already said it. I'll say it again. A gun rack? I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack? Like, what a fucking horrible gift to get a human being, and what a perfect response.
Perfect response. Exactly. That's why it's just so amazing.
And I'm always very generous with my film ratings, because I'm a guy who likes to spread the positivity. I'm going with a hard 9 on this movie. Again, it's written, it's concepted from an SNL skit, but I think they did a fantastic job. I think the acting in it is good. The comedy is good. The rewatchability is just off the charts. Like, again, Randy said 50 times. If someone told me that I have watched this 100 times, I would be like, okay, that makes sense. So I'm giving the hard 9.
You give it a 9 and a 10 so far.
So far in
Very-
Movie May, yes.
Yes.
Which means I did like That Thing You Do a little bit better than Wayne's World overall.
I'm not going to go there, but okay. So favorite scene is the Scooby-Doo ending because it was great. You got to unmask Rob Lowe and he's Old Man Withers. I wasn't expecting that, and
From the Haunted Amusement Park.
I LOL'd many, many times and watched that scene many, many times on my VHS tape. I think I might have had that on VHS, or maybe I just taped it off of HBO. I don't know, but that's the best scene in my. There's a lot of good scenes, but that's the one that really like kind of capped it off for me. Best song, I'll go with Foxy. I was kind of maybe going to try and go with that Alice Cooper song, but I don't like Alice Cooper really. I just thought it was cool that he busted out of a skeleton's rib cage. But I don't know. The song itself, I could care less. Was that Be My Frankenstein or something?
Feed My Frankenstein.
Feed My Frankenstein. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So, favorite quote. This is the best quote. So, all of you out there so Steve was very definitive with Steve and Randy both with where this was the funniest quote of the movie. And while it definitely is a funny quote with the gun rack, I feel like the funniest quote, the quote that'll make you laugh out loud, is the Bugs Bunny quote. Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and played Girl Bunny? And the reason why that's funny is because it was literally out of nowhere. There was no context. They're literally just laying on a car. I sound like Rob Lowe, literally, but they're just laying on a car talking about Star Trek or whatever the hell else, and Garth just says that. So
it's kind of funny because they're not stoned or drunk like at all in the movie. Like they don't really
as
partake.
far as we know.
Yeah, they don't show it on screen.
As far as we know, that's the Garth that I want to hear more from. That's the Garth that's funny, the random Garth that says stuff like that. So, best quote and overall score. Man, I'm torn because again, I have so much nostalgia for this movie, but as I watch back, there's just parts of it for me that are just not watchable anymore. A lot of the jokes fall flat that used to be funny to me. What did I gave That Thing You Do a 4, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
4.
It was not very good.
I mean, that was generous.
Chris is a harsh critic, Randy.
He's a very harsh critic. I know. I recall from the last podcast, but yeah.
I'm going to go. I mean, so just because it's driven up by nostalgia, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it better than average. So we're going to go 6.
All right. Listen, on the Chris scale, it's like a 9 or 10 for anybody else. So that's all good. Makes sense. That means you liked it. And I got to read a couple other quotes that we did not say. So Chris, you had one of the 5 in the Bugs Bunny quote. When they're ordering Chinese food and they ask what they would like, and Wayne says, "Go ahead, Randy.
I'll have the cream of some young guy."
I'll have the cream of some young guy. That is fucking hilarious. There's also, if Benjamin was an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick. That's a great one. And then, Chris, you mentioned it earlier. Imagine being magically whisked away to Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware. Yeah, those are my top 5, if you will, in no particular order.
And the Bugs Bunny quote, I think that's why it adds to that scene being one of my favorite scenes too. That was a good call on that one too, for sure.
What about the quote about I learned English from the Police Academy movies? That definitely does not hold up anymore. And Combust Move, where the games are played.
It's cool. It's hip. It's Noah's Arcade.
It's Noah's Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
I think the move afterwards, that the arm cross, that really sells that one.
I think another one that still stands out too is if you're going to spew into this. or I don't know, maybe that's, I have one of my best friends and we just go back and forth all the time with Wayne's World quotes. And that's one that always
And
surfaces.
the funny part about that is it's the smallest cup possible.
Right,
it's like,
right,
it's like
right,
one
right.
of those water cooler triangle cups kind of thing.
Yeah.
Any other quotes that we missed? Everybody wants to say them because they're just fun.
I'm good.
I could quote the whole movie. So yeah, no, I think we're good.
You could just watch the movie again. You can get the quotes that way. But no, look, we had a lot of fun with this one. I think that, at heart, again, deep down inside, younger Chris really enjoyed this one. It sounds like you guys still do. So if you haven't out there watched Wayne's World, do yourself a favor and check it out. Make your own opinions of it, of this one. I think it's going to be pretty polarizing between the people that like it and don't in the year 2024. But I'd be curious to find out. So let us know what you think. We always welcome feedback on the opinions and thoughts of the show, especially from Movie May, because there's a lot of people that feel very, very strongly about certain movies, whether they've seen them or not.
And actually, surprise, sit back, relax. We have another hour and a half podcast. We're going to do it right now, and we're just going to go through Wayne's World 2. You guys ready?
No.
Aerosmith is in Wayne's World 2.
I'm ready.
No,
you guys can do it. I'm going to
bed.
go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and not do that. So
for another time, maybe Movie May 2025. We'll see.
Sure, why not? Why not? And so that'll wrap us up for today. First of all, it was a blast as per usual. Randy, thanks for coming on. You were the perfect guest to talk about this movie. It's always nice to have somebody on that's very passionate about the subject matter. And obviously, you are a lifelong fan of Wayne's World, and that will not change. So appreciate you coming on the show.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hey, we appreciate you guys out there listening to High School Never Ends and joining us for Movie May. Continue to listen because we have more to come. We still have some movies on the docket here that we think you're going to be really interested in hearing our opinions about, and also some special guests that will help with those opinions and analysis. So stay tuned. But for the show that we just did and the shows we've done to date, we want to hear from you. Definitely go to our hub, www.hsnepod.com, because that's where you're going to link to our socials. And our socials is where you can give us your feedback via, Insta, Facebook, but also probably most importantly, our Discord channel, where you can talk to us directly. Let us know whether or not you feel Wayne's World is still funny.
Absolutely. And while you're at hsnepod.com, make sure and browse our shop. We have hoodies, t-shirts, hats, mugs, bunch of fun stuff, bunch of new designs. Anything that you purchase there help support us and the Dragon Wagon Independent Radio Podcast Network. You can also support us by giving us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening on, iTunes, Spotify. Real easy to hit that 5 stars. Maybe a little bit more if you want to write us a review and be like, man, Wayne's World is awesome. Thank you guys so much for talking about this movie from so many years ago. So write us a review. We certainly appreciate it. As Chris mentioned, Movie May rolls on. Actually, there's 5 Thursdays in May. So after this, we still got 3 more to go. What movies will we pick? You'll have to wait till next week and the following weeks to find out. WingBro Randy, my brother, thank you so much for hopping on with us. It's great to chat with you. Till next time, keep on rocking your dad bods, stir up your rock hands, and blast pop punk.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.